shut up. I ain't your brother. Don't call me brother. I'm not a brother of yours.
Indeed.
Doctor, go ahead.
Indeed, is what he says about McMahon and these other guys, the promoters screwing around with these guys, is this true?
Let me tell you something. If there was a union in professional wrestling where a guy had to get up and show some wrestling holds, guys like him would never get in wrestling in the first place. Guys like this guy right here wouldn't get in wrestling in the first place. Because I'm going to tell you why right now. Schultz was in Atlanta. 1975, 1976, I was in Charlotte. You were on top. I was training Tony Atlas. His first week in wrestling, he made $900. I made $4. He got pushed because he was black. You got pushed because you were black, and I was a better wrestler than you, which is reverse discrimination, and I didn't get the job because you were black.
Don't forget that he was talking about Tony Atlas. The reason Tony Atlas made that money, it was because Tony Atlas was their boy.
Was their boy? Is he telling the truth? Come on, is he telling the truth?
He was a talented athlete. He was a professional bodybuilder, and he wrestled.
He was a professional bodybuilder.
And I trained him. I know what he was.
Are you trying to tell me? Wait a second. Are you trying to tell me that every black man who makes it because he kisses the white man's?
That's exactly what he's trying to tell you, but it's a lie.
You know what else? Let me give you some facts about black. I got the largest wrestling school in the world. And David Schultz has got a school, and he can tell you, I get 1%. That's one black man out of 100 tries out to be a professional wrestler. Maybe if they had a little bit more guts and intestinal fortitude, they would come down and try out.
Wait a second. Is the reason that they don't try out because they know they're not going to get a fair shake?
They'll get a fair shake in professional wrestling as they will in any other big business or in any other sport. This guy's crying just like when down in Texas, when Tony Dorsett signed for the biggest contract in the world, Herschel Walker comes in, gets more money, now Dorsett's crying. If he didn't like what he was getting, he shouldn't have took it with or without the other guy. That's a bunch of baloney.
Can I say something?
Go ahead.
No.
How about all these guys who are trying out professional football? Spring training, they get cut. You hear them crying?
Jim and I, we're here. We're out of place.
Yeah, you're right. You're out of place. You're right. You're out of place. You're out of place. I was watching basketball the other night. I didn't see a white man on the court. You don't see me out there hollering president. You don't hear me doing it.
Let me finish saying what I'm saying.
It's a two-way
Because you got this. I'm going to say this here regardless. It's just like Jesse Jackson.
Hey, wait a second. We're not going to turn this into a racial circus just because he wants to.
No, you're wrong. You're wrong. It's not because I want to. I'm telling you the facts. I'm telling you what happened down the whole line. And when you got individuals like this here, wrestling is a white man's business.
Let me say one thing.
Go ahead, Doctor.
Why don't you tell them about 1970s? Why don't you tell them about when you come out on an interview and you're talking about God was going to the ring with you every night? Why don't you tell them about talking about that all the time? No, I got you wanted somebody give you something. You're black, you don't want to work. You don't want to work. You're just like
Wait a second. Doctor, no way anyone's going to indict all the blacks that they don't want to work. That's bull.
That's bull. You're right. I got a lot of black friends that work
Just a minute, David. Just a minute. You got the blacks. You got the Bobo Bazils. You got the Ernie Ladd. You got the blacks that are good, honest, respectable people. But then you got the renegade blacks that try to start
himself, and that's this guy right here. He's the only one getting indicted, and he's bringing it up. I'm telling you, he wasn't worth the job that he had, and he said he worked for $15 a night. He was overpaid.
That's right.
Next, we'll let our audience ask some questions and see if we can pin any of these guys down. Slammer, get out here. Okay. You folks been listening and hearing the same things I've been listening and hearing. Let's start with you. Go ahead, pal. You look big enough to be a wrestler yourself. Lose some of that lard ass and you'll be in good shape, man.
Yeah, Morton, I'd like to ask Mr. Wilson, if that's his name, how come it took 1,000 matches for you to make these disclosures about wrestling and wanting to go to bed? And why didn't you make them after 10 matches? And I think Dr. D would kick your ass.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I would. Hey, big guy. The guy's knocking and putting down wrestling, but what he didn't tell you, when we got involved with multiple sclerosis some 3.5, 4 years ago, they raised $29 million. This year, for MS, which is a dreaded disease that hits young adults, and I'm a national chairman of, we're going to raise $70 million because of wrestling. All right, wait a minute. One more minute, wait a minute. Rock wrestling, Ernie the Cat Land helping out. Bear Cat Wright is gone. He helped for charities years ago. We got Tony Atlas helping. I got S.D. Jones helping. I got David Schultz helping. I got me helping. I got Tony Altor helping. I got Bruno Sammartino helping.
You want to help?
Right.
You want to help?
T-Bolt and I have helped. We've been to hospitals for children, for burned people, for
Well, how
Vietnam
about let's
veterans.
help in this? Let's help here. I'm challenging. Hold it. What we're trying to do here is make money for MS.
What we're trying to do is help the people that are making all the money. That's what we're talking about.
Well, wait a minute. Let's not put all the promoters over. Wait a minute. Just a minute. Don't put the promoters over. Let's not put the McMahons. Let's not put the Crockett's. Let's not put the Gagnes over.
No.
They got their faults, okay. But let's make it a little bit better. Let's start something to get the boys having hospitalization, having this, having that.
Good.
Don't be knocking in big motors.
How about
Let's make it better.
Okay, let me go to this gentleman here. Let me go to you, sir. You look like you. Let me go to this guy. Shut up a second. This guy looks like he just escaped from Haiti. What the hell's on your mind?
I'm here from professional wrestling school, and I've been wrestling for over 1.5 years. And I've never had any promoter trying to get me in the bed. I've never had any problems with any
pal,
matches.
have you ever looked at yourself in the mirror? Do you think any promoter wants to go to bed with you?
They can have a better choice of me than him.
As another guy, you seem to be the only guy that a promoter wanted to lay his.
There's other people. There's other people in the business. There's other people that have been in a situation. Some of them have gone along with it. Some of them happen. It just so happens.
Are you saying one of these guys here could have gone along with it?
I don't know what
Never
these
happened
guys
to me.
did.
Never
I'm
happened
just
to
saying.
me. Never happened to the other fellow over there, Teddy Alzini. Never happened to Larry Sharp. Never happened to Tony Altamori.
Okay, here we go. All right, listen. Around night, this guy come out before about 4 years ago, cried fake. He cried black. The Crockett's gave you a chance in '85, pushed you with Ole Anderson, pushed you with 90 for and you blew it.
You got the paper. You got the paper.
You didn't try. You cried black, and you cried black, and it ain't right.
I have the paper that ain't worth the ink that's on it. You got individuals here at New York talking about the promoters all over the country. This, like I said a moment ago, Jim and I is in the wrong place because it's set the way it's going to be. These are people that's in.
And you're done, man. You got to be able to. Okay. I got one question. Okay, hold on. I got a question to you. All right? Are you crying sour grapes? He's crying sour grapes. How many people would pay $10 to see this guy wrestle? Is he going to draw? No way. That's drawing power.
You're hollering about people that pay here in your audience, but I've got people all over the country, boy, that pay for me. I was a big.
Then how come you never made it to the big time?
Well,
Let me go to
I've
this gentleman
been
here.
there. Where you trying to get?
What we got here tonight is a studio full of sour grapes. We got this guy crying racism, and he dropped out. He quit the fight. Right. He could have stayed in the business. He could have showed people that there could be a black world champ. No, this year, Iceman Parsons did it. The black world champion. You gave up the fight, boy.
You cannot fight that system,
You're standing here talking about Jesse, talking about the struggle. Dr. King would roll over in his grave.
These individuals here ain't even in the business.
We'll be there. You got to take the pain. You got to do it, baby. You got to go through the problem.
Zip it a second. Zip it. I'm coming back to you. Hold it just a second. Hold it just a second. Go, pal.
This is to Lou. Lou, if wrestling is supposed to be real, why doesn't Las Vegas take action on it?